Government has recently approved an increase of between 25 and 35% in salary increase for civil servants on the remaining 6 consolidated salary structures. While the conversations for a new minimum wage for workers in Nigeria rages on, the Nigeria Governors Forum says it's yet to conclude work on what the states can sustainably pay. Chairman of the forum, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazaq, issued a statement on it, and this is coming as the labor union breaks down what they want the workers to earn. Let's now talk to the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Nuhu Toro. Comrade Toro, thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. Organized labor is asking for 615,000 naira. That's what you call living wage, right? The governors are saying perhaps we should consider a sustainable wage while the tripartite committee is working on the minimum wage. Do you think that all of the parties involved will be able to reach a nexus as to which figure will favor every stakeholder?
Yeah, thank you for having me. We are hopeful. In negotiations, you don't have a fixation. So the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria and at large, the labor movement are hopeful that in the course of negotiations, we'll definitely find a meeting point to ensure that there's a win-win situation from both parties in such a way that the workers have something to fall back to, and the government also strives to ensure the full implementation of a new national minimum wage, because we are going to have a departure from the way and manner negotiations are done in the past. I can tell you that some state government are still not paying 18,000, not to talk of the 30,000.
And exactly why Nigerians are concerned about the figure you have proposed. Is that is that like a bargain strategy for organized labor? You're not really planning or thinking that government will pay as much, because there's also the implication of inflation and the question of whether or not government even has the capacity to pay this much.
Well, without being sarcastic, we believe strongly that if there is a will, there will always be a way. And we also believe that if state government cut down on their unnecessary expenditure, on some of the wasteful spendings they venture into, we know they have enormous resources to pay the new national minimum wage. And come to talk about the minimum wage and the amount that we put forth. If you look at the table, it's quite explanatory. We have earmarked 40,000 as house rent per month. You and I know clearly that in some highbrow areas, in some cities, 40,000 cannot rent a room and a parlor for a worker. So and anybody that thinks the organized labor is not sensitive to perhaps inflation and will be doing a disservice to the nation and to the working people.
There's the enforcement, when the figure is finally agreed upon. You mentioned 18,000 earlier. I think you were referring to the fact that some governors, as we speak, still do not pay the 30,000 naira minimum wage. But how is your union reacting to the position of the Edo and I think the Cross River State governors, who have come up with their own minimum wage, 70,000 naira and 40,000 naira respectively? Do you think that is them opting out of the decision of the tripartite committee?
Not at all. They cannot opt out. I think they are just trying in their wisdom to start warming up for the payment of the new national minimum wage at the end of the day when it is negotiated. And don't forget, it's not something that either parties, either of the tripartite can decide, which suggests that it is a function and a product of negotiation. And in negotiation, like I said, it's usually a win-win situation. None of the negotiating parties have monopoly of asserting that X amount must be what is going to be paid at the end of the day. So the logic is you put forth your demand and the other side will argue alongside what they think is feasible. At the end of the day, head or tail will strike a balance and meet halfway and have an agreed minimum wage for Nigerian workers.
Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Nuhu Toro, thank you for talking to us on TVC News tonight.
Thank you for having me. God bless Nigeria.